You live.
Yo, what's poppin'? How y'all doing today? I know I'm on at a different time. Hey, Brother Roberts, listen,
What's up?
do you know how glad this just made my heart to see your handsome face?
Well, I have to say I agree with you too. It's beautiful to see you, Doctor.
I am so excited. I miss you
Yeah.
tremendously.
Miss you too, my sister. Miss you too.
I am so glad to have you back.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for thinking of me.
Of course, all the time.
Yeah.
It's a lot been going on, Brother Roberts, and I've been missing your spirit and your energy. But just know that I've been vibrating high. I've been staying high.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you survived where you worked. You
Absolutely.
know, I'm glad that did no harm come to you at your job.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit. But not even out in the world, not even through all of these things that we're going through and we're working in and working through. I'm still here to tell the story.
Yeah, I was thinking of you guys quite often, you know what I mean? Because it's very seldom in life, you know, that you really meet people and they become like real family, you know. So I definitely, you and Mick, along with Nicole and, you know, just our team, you know, and even Mr. Robertson, I definitely do miss you guys. And I just really appreciate you, you know, reaching out. That means a lot.
Of course. Yes. Because you know I love you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I need to know that you know that I love you.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know that 100. I got that 100.
Okay, great, great, great. So, it's a lot been going on. Have you been keeping abreast of seeing any of the things that's been going on? Have you seen the results to the elections and all these things?
Yes, I've been you know, even going through some things that I'm dealing with you know, it's you cannot be a part of the reality, you know. So yeah, I've been observant, and then I've been able to Jaleel reached out to me with the Fleming situation,
Mhm.
and I tried to Darius and him had an event at Mount Moriah Church. I think that's the name of it.
I believe that's the
And,
church.
yeah, yeah, I did go out and participate in that to really give my support to that. But yeah, you know what's going on, you know, locally. You know, to be honest with you, is very disheartening as opposed to if you say, you know, nationally. But I re- I really think no, locally, what we really have to focus on across the board is very, very disappointing. You know that we don't have the real uh, support behind doing some things that we really need to do. And you know, you and I have talked about that in the past about, you know, really being committed to getting some things done and not continue to talk because, you know, everyone talk and people fall out and, you know, we go through all this, you know, drama that doesn't make any sense because it doesn't get anything done, you know. And so for me, that's very disheartening. Even when you think about the poor turnout, you know, the numbers was just atrocious for this past voting cycle, you know.
It was. It was terrible. You know
And
what?
so, mhm, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and that we talk about that so much. We've talked about that. We even talked about that over a year ago with the last election and 2 years ago with the last election. When we keep talking about them, we keep talking about how important the local is, and it's not clicking with everybody. It's not.
Right, right. And I think when you think, you know, we talked about it before and, you know, even a year ago about why is that? And you know, we also had entertain about, being committed to, doing some things in the community to bring awareness, and, if you get at to the heart of why is there such apathy, in our local community, not just nationally, but in our local community, in our families, in our friendships, in our relationships, what's really going on that, we don't see the importance of coming together and really strategizing to get some things done. I think, and when you have other people that are working, even with small numbers, you have other people that has an agenda that are able to get their agenda passed with a little of no with very small numbers, is because we are not participating. And
Yes.
back to and my queen. So, if we start off today a conversation around that, why do you think this type of apathy is so pandemic in our community?
I think I think there's been a number of reasons. One reason I think is because uh, back in the day when people were strong and shut down, like the churches, back then, and the civil rights and all of that movement was so strong in that. I think that the ball got dropped. I think that we did that those from that time era didn't pass along to all of us the things that they probably should have. Sometimes they held on, you know, not even thinking. I think sometimes when we think about the future, we think about it so morbidly that we don't think about it progressively, if that makes sense. Because we only think about the death in it and the me not being here anymore, but we don't think about the progressiveness in it. In that, if I pass my knowledge to this person and this person uses what they have plus what I have, it'll just keep moving. I don't think we think about it like that. We think about it too morbid, as I'm not going to be here anymore. And then I think money got involved and the green eyed monster took over. And then so people start thinking if I pass it on to somebody else, then they're gonna be getting what I don't get. And I gotta keep my money flowing. So I'm gonna hold it to myself. I think
Mm.
that was the thing. And then I also think that um with all of those things being said, especially like the money part and people holding those things to themselves, and things got so messed up, is that people started not to trust. So then they didn't trust the leadership. They don't trust anybody. They don't even trust their neighbor anymore. And so all of those things in account just made everything fall apart. And I think we don't do the right, and I think as of right now, we don't do the right plan. And I don't think we have the right mindset when we say that we're gonna go out and do these. Because now that I think about it a little bit more and I had some time to reflect on it a bit, especially being away from BLM. I had a little bit more time to reflect on it and really understand like how the movement should go. And I really based that on just the way that I conduct business, and I conduct business at my job. And our business here is I have SMART targets, right? And SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, and time based. And I don't think we put that should be the foundation of it, because we don't have that. And when we don't have those things to build on, then it just goes everywhere and it's just and it doesn't flow, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Everything that you said was full. You had a full impact of what you said collectively. But so when you mention about we have had now as you said about passing it down, you made a point about passing it down. You made a point about money, about greed. But I want you to kind of, and then you saying by you have stepped away, and able to look from an eagle's point of view as far as Black Lives Matter, the overall concept of how do we move progressively or moving forwardly. One of the biggest issues aside from that is we have had a tremendous blueprint. The blueprint has been there for all of us from
Yeah.
day one. Because when you think about door to door, what Dr. King and them, what they did back in the 60s, what they did back in the 60s with no Facebook, with no Twitter, with none of those kind of things. Everything was grassroots. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, some of the same jealousies we have today, we had back then.
Mhm.
Some of the same enemies we have today, we had back then. And we were able to overwhelmingly overcome and really put some meat on the bones. Now, if we could say, definitively, how can we engage our people? Because if you really look what's getting ready to happen in November, what do you think is getting ready to happen in November when you look at the city council, when you look at the commissioners, when you look at the mayor, the mayor's race? What do you think is really going to happen, sister?
Um, I really don't think that we're going to get the turnout that we deserve and that we need because I don't think that we're doing the research. I think that we're going to continue to get what we've been getting because we keep doing what we've been doing. We,
Okay, so when you say that, okay, so tell me this then. Okay, just like Mick a lot of time talks about um he talk about Gilchrist, he mentioned Weaver, you can mention Rick Jones, you can mention these other people. To date, why there hasn't been a collective push door to door voters registration and voter turnout, meaning lining up churches that's going to pick people up to take them to vote. Why there haven't been a real push for voter education, voter commitment to saying we got these 10 points, like with the Black Panther Party. We got these 10 points. This is what we're focusing on. These are our candidates, and this is what we want to happen. Not no guessing game, but as far as a strategy to get people to the polls to push our agenda.
I believe it's exactly what you said. Like we have the blueprint, but we want to recreate the wheel. Like my mother said, we want to reinvent the wheel. We don't want to use what has worked in the past. And history has showed us and proven that it has worked. And we are so hell bent on just throwing that aside that we're not using what worked. And that worked. It worked. We've seen it work. History has shown and proven that it works. And we just want to recreate the wheel. And why?
I think when you think about the pathology of why, and I think that's at the heart of it because, okay, Queen, we are almost 63% poverty rate in Flint, Michigan.
Right,
63% poverty rate.
right.
So when you think about that, when you go around and you are going around with your daily life after you get off work, when you are engaging your children and your loved ones and your friends, and then you even allow me uh, the opportunity to spend some time with you and the uh, Caucasian young man that was running for a seat at the restaurant over there on Pasadena Street. And I
Trevor
think it's,
at Row House.
yes, ma'am. And I think, see, I think, why is it that we, because I think that's why I'm a little bitter, is because I am tired of playing games. I am tired of being tired. I'm sick and tired, like Fannie Lou Hamer said. I am tired of being tired because if you look, I'm 66 years old. You think about when you get my age, and I may be dead and gone, and you think about what kind of movement have really happened. And if we love Flint, if we love Genesee County, and you have the old have to be engaged in the young, and even with the maturity of some people that are committed to change, there has to be a serious defining breakthrough. It shouldn't have to be the water crisis didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
General Motors leaving didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
The crime doesn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Killing each other don't do it.
Hmm.
Going to the clubs don't do it. Driving in our fancy cars don't do it. I mean, really, Queen, I mean, what is it going to take and what can we do to make it take?
I I really have been thinking that same thing. I really have been. I really like Mickey and I have talked about it before. You and I have talked about it before. I've really been thinking that, and still right now I've been thinking that. But I wholeheartedly believe, as you do, is that what worked in the past will still work. That we got to get back to it, and we have to not talk about it. We not have to just keep saying that we are and we are and we need to and we need to and we need to just do. We need to be like Nike say, just do it. We need to just.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
really think that at the end of the day, the the answer is to just do it. I don't.
Okay. So when you say just do it, just like when Darius and the brother Janelle reached out to me, and again, I wasn't feeling up to it, but I made a commitment to go, and short of death, as you just say, just do it. That is some beautiful words, but again, we are looking at, for example, and I hate to say this, but that European judge down there on the circuit court has always been a pedophile, and Judge Fair was able to resign, and he had been engaged in nefarious behavior in the past, and they covered it up. And you think about it, a lot of times when you're dealing with a cycle or a psychosis of what we do to one another, and then we're not committed, we hell bent on counseling each other out for the most minute thing. But
Yeah,
the enemy can be engaged in years and years and years of destroying us,
and
and
we
they
don't.
get a pass,
Yeah,
where they can resign. And then we always want to try to be white. We always looking forward to trying to be white as we can, even with Gilchrist and them. You know, it's appalling. The NAACP and all of them, it's appalling. I think it's blasphemy that this organization is nothing in the city of Flint and doesn't have a voters a committee, that is committed to every day, door to door, knocking and encouraging and motivating people to vote. I think it's appalling that you can have Triumph Church, this young man out of Detroit, can come and now he done bought two churches in Genesee, in Flint, Michigan, Ebenezer and the church on the east side. He got these two on Broadway Street. He got these two churches. And again, we will go and pray and run around the church and talk in tongues, but they cutting our tongues off. So my question to you, sister, is that we got something's if we're going into with this mayor with Neely and Weaver, this garbage, I mean, really, really, what is it gonna look like? Because the other day they have a St. John reunion over here on Carpenter Road, and my man Mr. Neely, I mean, he got his he got three people from the sheriff department, because I cut into the sheriff department again, not feeling good. I say, I don't have a gun on me. Why are you guys out here at a St. John reunion with your guns, with your white self and your guns? They said they're out here. Mayor Neely asked them to come out there. And to me, again, when are we going to start really vocalizing and calling one another out that are doing some things that are detrimental to our community? And I think Mr. Neely has shown who he really is. And again, no disrespect to anybody that's online. I don't want to be getting into a bashing. All I want to do is deal with facts. I want to deal with facts, where we are and where we need to go. And I think that's what we need to do, because we are going to die. And I think if we know that we're going to die, we need to be working on leaving a mark and not a stain. And those people that are supposed to be in places of power or pseudo power have to have a commitment to our community. But our community are not holding the people that's supposed to be empowered. We're not holding them to no kind of integrity, sister.
We're not, you know what, not only are we not holding them accountable, we're not holding ourselves accountable too, because at the end of the day we got to check ourselves, and if we don't check ourselves we can't move forward, because we are the ones that have to progress it, right? And if we ain't checking ourselves and we're not holding each other accountable, and on top of holding ourselves accountable, how we gonna do that from the top down? Maybe
Mm,
we need to start doing it from the bottom up, because if it got to start with us, then maybe we need to do it the opposite way, instead of from the top down, from the bottom up,
mm,
because we
mm,
check ourselves. Because if we
mm.
don't have no integrity and no accountability for ourselves, there's no way in hell I can hold that man accountable.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
we need to
Now
reverse it and start at the bottom and check ourselves instead of going from the top down. Because we are terrible on this level.
I think you're right. I think you got something there. I think that's a start. I think you got it. You hitting on something, sister. Because I think, I always talk about, Michael Jackson said the man in the mirror, but the man behind the mirror, like you say, holding one another accountable. Because if we keep waiting on those to do, they have proven they're not. I love that. I think you hit on something, holding each other accountable. I think you hitting on something, Queen.
Yeah,
That's it.
I really
That's
think.
how I got to start. I
Yeah,
think it's got to,
reverse
yeah,
it. Hmm.
yeah. I think that's how it's got to start, and it starts with conversation like this,
Hmm.
and and a momentum of building conversations, and then from these conversations, it would be nice to start having maybe, uh, uh, like you and I had talked about before. When I love when you had talked about the pop up dollar campaign, the Black Dollar campaign, or the pop up tea conversation at someone's house or right on the block. Why can't we have a conversation right on the block? Pull up on the block and let's ask people to come out the house. We got phones and say, let's have a conversation right on the block. I mean, when you say from the bottom up, that's from the bottom up.
Absolutely. And just so you know, Mickey and I are getting ready to start that.
Holler, well, keep me in mind. I'm not dead yet.
I
So
know you.
please,
I will. We're gonna start. We're gonna start doing the pop up. So we're gonna start. He's got his equipment that he needed
thank you.
for that. So we got what we needed to start, and so we're gonna go for it when we're gonna start popping up, and that's exactly what we're gonna start doing. So we're gonna pop up and do these dollar campaigns. That's where I'm starting at. So I'm starting there, and then we'll start with the teas as well. But where I'm starting is going to be with the pop up. So now that we have that, that's where we're going. So just so you know, I didn't forget it, and we are still progressing forward, and we are moving.
Hey, look, and you see how that energy, I mention it and make sure I'm part of the team, but you see it's always been in my heart because
Absolutely.
I believe in that. And that's back to what, when you think about Marcus Garvey, Ned Turner, Robert Smalls, those are the things that they did. See, it's not new. The pop ups are not new.
No.
I mean, we can fashion it, we can, we think of it in our terms today because, that was back in the early 1800s, I mean, we wasn't even born then. But their writings, what they have left with their writings, what Marcus Garvey has left for us to really embrace is just amazing as far as doing some things from the bottom up because that's what he did. He did it from the bottom up, sister. And I
That's
think
right.
that's really wonderful. Now, as you said about engaging from the bottom up, um, you know, to some degree, when we think about the so-called progressive. Now,
Mhm.
when you mention the word progressive, what does progressive mean to you, really?
Progressive to me, progressive for me and how I think about it and how I see is building blocks. Progressing forward. It's like a building block to me. You start with this and then you build and you keep building and you progress. That's what progression is for me. And that's what it looks like for me.
Okay, okay, and okay. I mean, that's clearly a right definition because for those that are online and listening, I think it's very important for us to make sure that when we have conversations that we're clear about what we're saying, so there not no ambiguity, right?
Right.
Because I think when we thinking about from the bottom up, we need to be clear about what our language and how we are speaking and what we are saying for when people repeat what we may have said so it don't get misconstrued, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it seemed like for in our community, it seemed like there's always a push. For some reason, there's always a push to misquote somebody.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is.
Now, when you
It's
think
heavy
about,
and systemic right now.
huh?
I said it's heavy and systemic right now.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. So what are you feeling, and what do you think? And I know you talk with Mickey quite a bit. I haven't talked to him in a while. So where are you with everything's going on? Give me just a little compendium of where are you?
Disgusted.
Oh, sister, yeah, you should look. You should make a poster of how your face look.
I am disgusted. I am absolutely disgusted. My heart is broken. Like, all of these things. And, just to be clear, I'm not quitting. I'm not stopping. I'm not going, let y'all just make me a killjoy or nothing like that. But it makes you tired and it makes you question why you do it, right?
Yeah.
It makes you question it. But for me, when I have to when it gets me downtrodden like that, and I have to question myself and why I do it, it makes me go harder. It makes me think about it differently. It makes me approach it differently, and it makes me want to do more, as opposed
Mm.
to, sometimes when I be like, man, okay, I quit. But my quit is not a quit. It's a reset, and
Yeah.
everybody needs a reset, right? And I know we
Right.
all deserve a reset. And so that's what happens to me. I stop. I assess. I recess. I reset, and then I adjust, and then I get back in there.
Okay. 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 That's excellent. And that's something that we have to encourage others um, in some kind of way. That's what we have to work on, encouraging our community that kind of mindset, because I do feel that there's such a there's such a spirit. It's like a spirit of it's a spirit of doom. It's like a spirit of I don't want to say like the zombies like Walking Dead, but it's similar to Walking Dead.
Mhm.
If you trying to get my drift, it seems like our community is literally Walking Dead.
You know what to me is that we are getting complacent. We are getting
Mm,
too comfortable with what's going on right now, and it's just like, we're desensitized.
oh yes,
So
that's
all
good.
of this stuff that happens, we're desensitized. So when something else crazy happens, we're just like, we're
Mm,
too desensitized. And not only are we desensitized, but now our children are desensitized. And now they're just like, it's just another,
mm,
and we
that's
should
good.
not how we should be. So I think we as a whole and as a city, as individuals, need to think about that, and we need to stop. We need to think about it. We need to assess it. We need to reset, and we need to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all need to do that because right now we're just too desensitized, and we're just like, I'll give you the perfect example of something that's just recently been going on. And before I want to say that, I want to reiterate the fact that 810 News Media Group has absolutely, it does not want any parts of this. It does not want to be involved at any point in time. I don't care what the last show happened. It happened on there. It has absolutely nothing to do with Satara, with Mickey, with Brother Roberts, and 810 News Media Group. But the things that have been going on, Brother Roberts, behind the scenes, and that all of these things that have been coming out, whatever, we have been so desensitized and is so hell bent on, like you said earlier, misconstruing things, throwing things out there, putting folks' personal business in there. And so now these things that were supposed to be political and local and about the people and about the movement and the shaping and the forming of the city has become real gangster. And they done took
Mm,
it from political to the streets. And somebody's going to get hurt. So
yeah,
my point is that we all need to stop. Just stop. Just stop right where you are. Pull back and really think about this and think, is it worth it? Is it worth my life? Is it worth my livelihood? Is it worth my family? Is it over some foolishness that don't even have to be? Listen, some things just don't need to be out there like that. You can pull somebody to the
right,
side and have a conversation, or you can just not fool with them and deal with them at all. But when it comes to things like this, though, we really need to stop being desensitized about it and thinking that it's just it's another reality show. No, this is really our lives, and it's real, and we need to make sure that it continues to be real and not just something that you see on Facebook or on social media, wherever it is that you look at it and post it at. But this is real life. This is real problems, and we need to approach it in a real way. And again,
yeah,
I think we need to hold each other accountable. We need to hold ourselves accountable. See, if we first hold ourselves accountable, none of this shit would even be going on because we would have some
right,
accountability and integrity within ourselves.
right,
So that's what it is. And we don't so what really what do you care about for real? Is it that you care about what you look like on social media, or do you really care about the city and how you're going to live now and going forward? What are your priorities? What's the end game?
right.
I think
And when you say that, and when you really say that, that is the question. What is the end game? Because this social media has become a monster in itself, and the monster has always been there since man has been on the planet. If you even think about, the Mayas, the Aztec, the Olmec, if you think about the Kemetic people, thousands of years ago, human beings pretty much behave in an atypical way. I think in today's terminology and the way we have been so, I think, I don't want to say disillusioned, as you just said, about so desensitized.
mm-hmm,
I think because of the emptiness and the lack of any kind of integrity, because for you to have, for you to be full as opposed to empty,
mm-hmm,
you've had to have some foundation.
mm-hmm.
I think since there have been such a push that many of us today have no foundation because of the lack, as you said earlier, did not many of us, and even contemporarily, you have people that are in political positions or people in power that have no understanding of their history. So since you have no value of your history, then you think what you see on social media is facts. You think that's the real world.
Right.
And I think that is a part and parcel of where we are today in how we are in such dire situation. I
Mm-hmm.
think you are right on point about that.
Yeah. I
And like you say, I do believe that if something doesn't really have a serious impact, a lot of people are going to be hurt
yes.
because people are playing games.
Yeah.
And this is really getting serious, Queen. Real talk.
Absolutely, it is. It is.
And I think that's very, very disappointing because, there's so much that is expected of us from our ancestors.
Hmm.
We really, really, really have a reason and a purpose, to be here.
Hmm.
And it's appalling for us to continue to just, as you said earlier, about um, not having any kind of focus, no kind of direction, and thinking that this is a game and something's going to fall out the sky. When you look at, the treatment of the water, with, the opera funds, I mean, the list go. I mean, the you're going to have a hung jury. The list goes on and on about the continued raping of Flint, Michigan. I mean, we constantly are continuing to be raped. I'm talking about real talk, Queen.
Yeah, absolutely. They just listen. Y'all know me. They are literally bending us over and using no lube every time,
No, man, at all.
and we take it.
And taking it. I mean, you think about it. I did not support it. You see all of those uh raisins run to back to the bricks, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's sad that we are engaging in a community that continues to show us they have no respect for us at all, sister.
yeah,
None at all. And like you say, from the ground up, we have to we got to do something real serious, man.
yeah.
And like you say, those pop-ups, I think popping up, engaging the community, you know, being factual, being bold, being serious, having facts on top of facts on top of facts. All you don't have to lie or embellish about anything that's going on today, sister.
No,
Just roll with the facts.
that's it. Because the facts are so terrible in itself. Why you gotta lie about it? The facts
Thank you.
are horrid.
Thank you.
It's no need
Thank
to
you.
embellish on the already horrid.
Horrid.
Yes.
Horrid.
Hey. In such
And
deplorable situations, and you have to embellish. There's no need. There's
yes,
absolutely
ma'am.
no need.
Yes, ma'am. Now, um, what have you guys have you or Mick? I mean, what has been going on? I haven't seen anything. What kind of engagement have you had with um any of the council members? I mean, how have any of that engagement been?
So, I regularly keep in touch with Tanya Burns. Eric Mays reaches out to me as I reach out to him. Tanya Burns does as well. Jerry Winfrey Carter, I speak with her. I haven't spoke with her like in the last couple of weeks, but we speak quite often. I'm able to call any of them. Um, so Dennis Pfeiffer, I'm still able to speak with him. He speaks with me whenever I need to speak with him. Um,
Okay,
even um, Mick, help me out. Fourth Ward, what's her name? Judy Priestley. Even Judy Priestley. Um,
okay,
yeah, so those I do talk to and I am able to keep in touch with. So those ones they will regularly talk to me. They will regularly keep in touch with me, as we need information or but as far as the other ones, not so much.
okay. So saying that, what has any movement happened with any kind of opera funds? What has if they still playing games with that? They still playing games with uh the North End Food Market with Pastor Flynn. That still is a hort, and so um
I
that
can
still
answer
is
that for you, brother Roberts.
Go for it, Mick.
okay. Hey,
Okay,
hey, hey, my brother, good to hear your voice, man.
Oh, likewise. You know, I can't. I'm. You know, I was so happy to see you back on the screen. That's why I wasn't saying that. I was proud to see you back. I might have shedded a tear.
Oh, okay, man.
Yeah, because
That's
I
a
knew you was
beautiful
gonna cut.
tear.
Yeah, I know, because you was coming with some straight magic for me today. No,
Absolutely.
Oh, you know.
yeah. Let me tell you about this part now. Now you know the state of Michigan, they put it in the paper. They gave him 1.5, but earlier, you remember they gave him the 1.2. Was it 1.2 when they first gave it to the
Right,
co-op store?
right.
They just gave him another 2.5 that made it 1.5. But you know how blacks we'll read and say they gave him 1.5. They just gave him another 2.5 and made it 1.5.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Other than that, and far as
Okay, now.
the Hyper fund, he got a strong 5 to 6 votes, man. He got two of your favorite council people. He got Dr. Liddell Lewis, Quincy Murphy, Councilman Quincy Murphy. Then he got the Fabulous Four. You
Oh,
know who them
really?
are: Dennis
Yes,
Pfeiffer,
sir.
Judy Priestley, Eva Worthy, and Ali Hokenberg. If you
Wow.
want to ask me how I've been about with the council people, the only ones I talk to is Jerry Winfrey Carter. We made up. We never had no beef, but Mays. Right now I'm in the doghouse with Mays and Tanya Burns. So right now I'm dealing with 2 out of 9.
Okay, well, that's a raising that. Okay, I can understand that raising that.
I'm
Hey,
out.
so brother Mick,
Hold on, I'm here.
explain this to me.
Yes, sir.
So, so do you or Queen, do y'all have a full understanding of the opera dollars and how 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 is that is going, what is that going to do? I mean, what is it really going to do? Is that going to be like they did the PPP money? Is it going to be where you fill out some paperwork to try to get this to push either your business, your platform, or how are those dollars supposed to be secured, and who are they targeting? And then a caveat to that question is, so when you have talked to some of these elected officials, have anybody, you or Queen, talked to them about how across the board impacting wards, where the wards are receiving some money to get some things done in the wards to push Flint forward? Yes or no?
Well, you want me to take this or you want this one?
Go ahead. I'll just piggyback. Go for it.
Oh well, Land Bank got 16 million, and Council is confused. They don't know who getting money, but the Fab Six. I mean, with the infamous six, they voting for stuff, man, and don't even know what they voting for. They ain't asking no questions or nothing. He sent it up, they sign it or whatever. They say yes. So they don't know.
Mm.
I mean, Eric Mays, they did vote for a paper that you could get it. Then Neely and the people they paying that with the compliance company, the firm,
Uh huh.
$1 million too. They supposed to came up with a paper, but they ain't came up with one. But he giving it out though. He handed it out like Oprah Winfrey.
But didn't they say that wasn't legit? Like they weren't taking that?
Man, that man giving money away like Oprah Winfrey
No,
right
no, no,
now.
no. I'm talking about the form that Eric Mays made up.
They said it was legit. The people said it, but he said it. The mayor said it wasn't in his administration. So
Yeah.
it's confusing, man.
So we don't. So there's no definitive answer to that, and nobody has. So yeah, there's nothing definitive from that. It's this one says this one says that, and that kind of is all like this. So there's no answer. There's no plain, clear, cut, dry. Yes, no. This is this. It's all well. So it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question. The ombudsman office.
Uh-huh. You hear absolutely zip about it.
Mm.
Not a word.
Mm. Mm.
Not a word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um,
I know that.
so
I know that from that last council meeting, correct me if I'm wrong, Mickey, but Councilman Quincy Murphy is trying to get Ms. Inez Brown out.
Oh
Miss
yeah,
Brown has been down there for 1,000 years.
Yeah,
oh
that
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. Quincy was trying to make her rehire for a job.
I mean, he went hard on her. Yeah, it's just I don't know.
But he kept saying, Brother Robert, nah, I ain't the smartest, and I ain't knocking nobody or nothing because I did special ed coming up. But listen, just be
Cut
quiet.
it out.
Listen, I'm being serious, Brother Robert. He kept saying we, but he was saying him and the lawyer talked about it, but he kept saying we and said the lawyer. So him and the city lawyer, I guess he didn't get with the other 8 council members or nothing, but him and the city lawyer talked about. He said it was based upon the charter, but it was to do a hiring process, and she could have I guess in January, even though she grandfathered in, but I guess they probably Quincy can see in the future. I guess he probably thought she was gonna retire come January.
Because he can see in the future. Maybe.
Hey, man, hey, he said.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that being said, so there has not been any definitive as far as, and I don't want to repeat myself, but so there has not been no kind of structured outline, ward by ward, expenditures for. I understand you said about the gangster of land bank, which is insane. So have there been any kind of push for another conversation for uh, a no show cause of confidence in city council, or that is irrelevant now? Meaning, because of the city council not working for the people, for the constituents, in my opinion, then they are showing no cause, meaning we have no confidence in their ability to lead and would like for them to either step down or resign
You are correct.
across the board.
You are correct.
Yeah,
Beg your pardon?
You are correct.
you're correct. They lawless right now, especially the infamous 6. Oh man, they can listen, man. You got the second doctor, the Dr. Lewis, the second ward councilwoman, man. You say anything, she popping up like what they used to say, Candy Man. You know what I'm saying? You say him 3 times, you say something about her, she up in the chat, she on there making comment. They don't feel like they can be recalled. They feel like ain't no recall is gonna get put through.
She also had a big old blowout with Councilwoman Tanya Burns at that council meeting. Listen, when I tell you it was like watching. Remember Fight Night at the Palace?
Yeah.
Like that.
Really?
They you know how the old folks, my grandma used to say that they cut the food. I mean, she cut the food.
So Mick, what is your temperament? What do you feel Miss Weaver's chances?
I feel they great.
How about you, Queen?
I do. I believe that she needs to keep her momentum, right, and continue on the upward swing.
Okay.
She because it's crunch time right now, right? And
Yeah.
she really needs to stay in the fight and stay strong, stay consistent, and just stay true to herself and her morals, and don't go down that one lane. Don't go down left. And let them other people have it, but just continue to stick with the facts and stick with what works. Stick with the facts.
Okay.
Well, she is. Right? She is, and that's what I'm saying. She needs to stay in her lane. Stay in her lane.
Okay.
Stay strong and consistent. Don't waver.
Okay.
Definitely not the time.
Okay. What is you guys Mr. Green, the the police chief. What type of energy do y'all get from him?
You know what? Let me be honest with you about Chief Green. When I see him and I look at him from knowing him from then until right now,
Yeah.
he's weary. He's tired. I think he wants something new. I think he needs something new because what he has right now in place for him that's giving him this direction is making him very weary. And I think
Mm.
he needs something different. That's my humble opinion on what I see. And I think he's tired and I think he's ready to I think that he might be rethinking his reason for even doing this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm. Have there in have you did any follow up with Hamidi?
Um A little bit. So, he is not the superintendent anymore. He's gone and he's removed. And so it is now
No, no. Say that again. I didn't get that.
he is so Toll. Peter Toll is no longer the superintendent anymore. He's been relieved of his duties and now Leslie Key, a black man, is now the superintendent.
Who should have been the superintendent before? He should have been a superintendent anyway. I like Mr. Keys, but go ahead.
Yeah. And from my understanding with Hamidi, I had taken my daughter out,
Yeah.
but I still keep up with them and I still know a few people that their children don't go in there anymore. But I do know some of the people in there. And I think they're doing a great job. I think that they are moving they are very much being progressive.
Oh,
They've
okay.
been building and they have been going.
Okay.
They got some programs in place that's
Yeah.
going on and some things, and they are moving. They have got the band back. And
Really?
shout out to D Golden. If y'all know D Golden from Beecher, shout out to D Golden that's running the band, right?
Okay.
Listen, they are doing some great things. They're getting the STEM programs in there, like all of those things. Like, listen, hey y'all, have you got it going on? Y'all better take some
All
notes
right.
in there. Take some
Okay.
notes. I think these people really need to take some notes, and Flint needs to follow the blueprint. I'm talking about they getting it in over there. They are doing well.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah, they now when you talk about somebody using money wisely, I think that they
Yeah.
I think that they did. They are investing in their children. They are investing in their programs, and they are investing in these children's future.
Well, I always respected Mr. Key. He was very, very serious and committed to our children.
Yes.
That's one brother that years ago, man, I met him about 20 years ago, and the brother has always been, advocate. I mean, he a Christian, but he definitely has been an advocate for our children. I've always thought that he needed to be, even though he's a assistant principal at one time when I dealt with him,
Yep.
but I love to see him in that kind of power place because like you say, those, the band, art, gym, swimming, wood shop, metal shop. If we get back to some of the basic things that our children really need, you got Tony out there, the basketball coach. Coach, he's committed. He's a wonderful young man too. Um, I'm glad to hear that, because we need to get back to doing some things. You can say about being progressive, but progressive, as you said earlier, it just means refining and doing some things that have been done in the past. You are doing it in a different way, but you are achieving the same goal. A lot of time they want to talk about, this is old, that's old, 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 old. But really, a lot of the stuff, just like if you think about talking, we haven't changed talking for thousands of years. We may not speak the same language culturally in different countries, but the action of talking have not changed for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So my point I'm saying is walking haven't changed, Queen.
No.
So my point I'm saying to you and to the listeners is that we harp on some things about being old, Those things that have worked, all you do is refine them. And
That's what
then, as we said earlier, we got to from the bottom up. That's got to be a t-shirt. That's got to be a motto from the bottom up, holding each other accountable. I love that, Queen. If anything that we really say today, I think that the bottom up has got to be our moniker. We need to run with a bottom up, the bottom up, holding each other accountable.
I do
I
too.
think that could be a wonderful, wonderful, starting with the pop up.
I think so as well.
Just a suggestion.
No, I think so as well. So, and, listen, I'm not ever asking anybody to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So when I told you I was taking some steps back and I was looking, I assessed myself and I rethought how I did it. And I adjusted. I adjusted how I approach things in the show. I adjusted how I approach things in life. I just approach how I do things as far as the community is concerned, because I checked myself and I had to hold myself accountable for some things, right? And I had to
Right.
make sure that I was doing these things for the right reason. Even though I knew that I was, I still have to continue to ask myself those questions, because that's a self-check. I continue to ask myself those questions, because if it's a no to any of those questions that I ask myself, then I got to adjust and I got to figure out how to make it a yes and go back to where I need to be. So
Yes,
that's how
ma'am.
we keep ourselves accountable. So we have to make sure that we are doing regular self-checks and self-assessments, right? On top of
Right.
doing assessments to our neighbors and to our friends and to our families and to the people that are in this fight with us, because that's how we start. And then once we have that base, that's our foundation right there.
Right.
Our foundation is strong and solid like that, then we can continue to move up. Then we can go to the local, then we can go to the state, and then we can go federal. But we got to start from us. And
Thank
it
you.
first
That's
starts
right.
with ourselves.
Yes. 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 That's beautiful. That's beautiful. On that energy is so important. And I think when you think about next steps, what would be the next steps? And because that is what's going to happen. Our people are so prone to, they can't believe it unless they see it. Now, it's different when you're running around a church and all that religious stuff. And no disrespect to anybody I'm not. What I'm saying is, if you look at some of our patterns, as you said about self check, that's got to be one of our self check.
Absolutely.
We really got to self check ourselves on this religious dogma, because it has made our community worse, sister.
I can't do anything but agree.
Worse.
And
So
I think it's the mentality of the people that are in place, right?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also,
Um,
in order for us to make sure that we are with that accountability when we go forward to put these things in action, like I said, I think we need to have smart targets. We need to make sure we have a smart target, because I think those are the things that we miss. And because we have those ideas in place on what we would like to see and what we think it should happen, but we don't have smart targets, specific, measurable, attainable, and wait, I can't even spell. Specific, measurable, attainable, and time-based, right? We have
right.
to have those smart targets. And I think if we can hit every one of those marks, then that's how things move. Because
Mm,
because usually we don't have a smart target, because when we talk about what we want to do, it's not specific, because we be
right.
all over the map. It's just be
Right.
everywhere, right? And then
Right.
measurable, because then when we think about it, we don't think about it like in chunks or in increments where it's actually really, where it's really a goal that can be, sometimes it's too much and we need
Right.
to scale it back, and we don't do that. And that's
Right.
what attainable is, because is that really attainable? Like, is it really?
Right.
Is it really?
Is it
Is
really? Yeah.
you do? Is it really? And then time based, because it can't be something that we're talking about that's going to happen 20 years from now. We need to talk about some things that can happen, in chunks. What can happen in a week? What can happen
Right.
in 2 weeks? Then what can happen
Yeah.
in a month? Then what can happen in 3 months? Then what can happen in 6 months? Then what can happen in a year? and
Yes.
do it again.
Yes.
And do it.
That's it. When you mentioned that, uh, that's the whole concept of strategic doing. When you think about strategically doing something, again, if you give yourself that commitment, and you remember at Black Lives Matter, I used to talk about that, a 30-day, we doing this. You start in 30 days, you got to check in. If you need help, you need to call somebody. If it's write a letter. If you say you're going to write a letter, you need help to write a letter. Then I call in, I say, Mick, I need some help. I'm stuck right here. At least, and then 2 weeks, I get the letter done because I said I'm committed to doing that. We have all these lofty things all over the universe and not get nothing done. Then we mad. And then what happens, Queen, a lot of times we get mad because we didn't fulfill what we were supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Now we embarrassed, right?
Right.
Then it goes back to our integrity and our character, right?
Right.
Because that's another thing that we really screwed up on is our character and our integrity across the board.
Yeah.
That's why that bottom up is so important. We got to rebuild our character in our community.
Absolutely.
Our character is shot. Sister, our character is shot.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You
And
got people running around here, you know, can just like Mick just said, you got the fabulous six down at the city council. You got the fabulous six. Unacceptable, man.
well, I think when we do start with ourselves first and then start holding each other accountable on this level, when we get the bottom together, I think that's
Yeah,
what we'll get some trust back. We'll start being able to build the trust back. But we have
yeah.
to build the trust back with ourselves first, with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So when we build the trust back with each other, then that's how the unity starts and how the unity can move to the next level.
That's it.
Because we have to base it with us first. We hold ourselves accountable, we hold each other accountable, and we get that tight. That's where unity comes in place. That's how you start being unified. Because then you start rebuilding trust. Then you start rebuilding each other. Then you start rebuilding your house, right? With your,
Mm-hmm.
then you start
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding your community.
Mm-hmm.
Start rebuild, helping the other communities rebuild, and then that's how a city comes together to rebuild.
Come on.
Chunk.
Holla.
We gotta chunk it. We gotta start doing these things in chunks and start instead of trying to take the whole. Listen, you build a gumbo in chunks, right? It's
Yeah.
it's steps. And you gotta
Yeah.
put it in at the right time. You gotta make sure you start that thing and you keeping it right. Because you got what's your base? A rule.
Yeah.
Rule.
Come
We the
on.
rule. We are the rule. And then you gotta start chunking that stuff on top of it.
Come on.
How we
That's
gotta
it.
start. We gotta do this thing in chunks, y'all. We can't just
Yeah.
do a gusto to everything and think we're gonna go start the end. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's a marathon.
And we have to make sure that we're thinking about it strategically like that. And we have to
Mm.
do it in chunks. We got
I
to.
love it. Now, when you mentioned that, when I was asked to come to that event a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I'm listening. They got the assistant prosecuting attorney there. They talking about Mr. Flemings, and the officers wasn't charged in the township, and the officers at the Hurley wasn't charged. And city officers wasn't charged for violating. And so David Layton's office wouldn't do anything. And so I simply asked this question, and nobody hadn't thought about it. When you think about what you just said about chunks,
Mm-hmm.
about doing things in chunks,
Mm-hmm.
and then about understanding what you're doing. I told the group, I say, have anybody contacted the Michigan Civil Rights Department?
Mm,
They said no.
mm,
I say, you need to contact Al Sharpton, Bill and Crump, the Civil Rights Department of Michigan, because his civil rights were violated since the township, nor the city wants to file any charges. See, and then that's when you have other people, because a lot of time people be emotional and not thinking.
Yeah.
And see, that's the whole strategy behind Dr. King, and when you Randall Robertson and Al Sharpton and the Panthers, you know, Huey Newton and them wasn't no joke, sister.
Absolutely not.
They were some legal scholars. Angela Davis and them ain't no joke, sister.
At all.
So again, once you understand the law, you need to make sure the law, and you ain't got to act a fool, talking loud and all that kind of stuff. Do the paperwork, as you just said, in chunks. Be committed to, as you said, about smart targets. Because when I said his civil rights, it's like everybody in the room, even Jalil, was like, oh, we ain't thought about that. You see what I'm saying, sister? That's why I take all of us to be part of the gumbo.
Absolutely. Because everybody brings something different to the table. That's what we need to understand. That everybody brings something different to the table, and we all need to play our role. We all need to play our position.
Yes, ma'am.
Here. And if we can take ego and pridefulness out of it,
whoa. You know, that ego and that pride, man, do you know that ego and that pride is killing us, sister? That mess is killing our community.
Absolutely.
Because it's based on nothing.
It is. It is. And I think that's the thing. And then when we're talking about doing things in chunks and doing those things like that, I want to say this as well, because I think some of the problem, even still, is that we can't drive. You can't drive your car forward if you steady looking in the rearview mirror, right?
Nope.
That's our problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem right there. We want to look in the rearview mirror as opposed to taking a history lesson and moving forward, right? Because you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. But you can't really look in this rearview mirror to drive forward. So here's the thing for me. If we're going to continue to have this negative energy, this negative spirit, and this negative talk, right? And we're going to keep speaking this negativity, because words are power, right? Words are magic.
Yeah.
And if we're going to continue to spew that out, that's exactly what you're going to get. And that's why I try to bring so much positivity to things. And I say that we cannot continue to think about these things negatively all the time. Because if we continue to say, well, they continue to do this, and it's because they did this to us before. Okay. Okay.
And what?
They did. What are you going to do about it now? Because if we're going to continue to talk about what happened even 5 minutes ago, are we going to continue to do that? Okay, let's move past that and continue to move forward. But if we're going to continue to spew out that negativity, that's exactly what you're going to get. What you put out into the universe is what the universe is going to give you back tenfold, right?
Right.
That's exactly what happens. So if we're going to continue to do that, then you're going to continue to get what you can get. So I'm not going to continue to talk about all of this negativity and this is happening, and it's because of this. Yes, it might be. But if I am speaking about it, it's because I'm saying, okay, this happened, and it happened in this timeline, and it happened this. We don't want it to happen again. So what can we do, knowing that this happened, to move forward? I'm not taking that to continue to beat on nobody, because that's what we do. We beat a dead horse until we get glue all day, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We got to stop that. We have to have something. You listen. I think about this like this. For me, the glass is half full. It's never half empty. For me, this is just specifically for me. I don't know about nobody else, but for me, the glass is always half full. It's never half empty. But let me tell you, if it even get to the point to where I feel like it's getting empty, it's a fucking glass. Fill that bitch up. Fill it up. It's a glass. That's where I'm at with it. And that's how I move. That's how I continue to try to move so positively in my life. Listen, if I told y'all my story, you wouldn't even believe it. Yeah, I told you the things that I had to go through to get to where I am. You probably wouldn't even believe it. But I'm walking in greatness every day. And I'm not ever gonna look like what I've been through. Never. I'm gonna continue to move forward. And that's what we have to do as people, starting with ourselves and then moving it across. We got to reach across the aisle and make sure we're doing the same things, but it start with you. And if you're going to continue to be negative, listen, I don't want none of that negativity and none of that positive. I mean, nothing that's not positive around me. So if the spirit and the energy that you bring in, and Mickey can tell you this right now. And listen, and any of y'all, I'm gonna tell you just like this. If I don't deal with you and I don't fool with you, it's something that in your spirit that ain't clicking with mine, and I can't rock with it. No feelings. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It ain't no hard feelings. What it is I'm keeping myself centered. I need my yin and my yang to work for me. Feng shui all up in here. I need it to work. So in order to do that, I have to make sure that I keep the right things around me and for me to stay in my element and to keep vibrating high, because I never want to vibrate low. And when I feel vibrating low, I got to do what I got to do to keep moving myself upwards and get back up. And that's what I need for everybody that's listening and that's watching to do. And that's accountability with yourself. And that's where it starts. And that's how we have to move. And we, all of us, and when I say we, I'm not speaking French or nothing like that. I'm saying all of us collectively have to start being accountable for the actions that we have in ourselves. And we have to be accountable for how we think, because it's your mind and you have to alter the way that you think. You do. And it's easier said than done. But if you work on it every day, a little bit every day, you will be able to change your mindset.
Yes. That's beautiful.
And if you don't work on it, you're not going to get a change. You got to keep working on it. You got to work on it.
Well, I love what you just said. And what I like to do is encourage our listening audience and you and Mick, because think about this like this. So let's do a smart target. And those raisins that y'all have relationship at the city council, invite them out for a possible, just think about this and say, we want to take a block or two and no agenda, just door to door, encouraging people to vote. That's a start. Just go door to door, encouraging people to vote. Because a lot of times what we're finding out is the apathy is voting, and nothing has changed for me in my life. I'm still poor. I'm still in poverty. Or I'm rich. I got it going on. I vote and I'm able to manipulate some things. So one of the challenges that I want to, as you just said, was very, very powerful as far as accountability. And if we're going to roll, we're going to roll. But let's think about and not talk about it, but let's really think about, and then, as you said, plan and engage responsibly about a smart target. And one of the things that I like to encourage us to really be about, especially in this season, that we can have an impact is voter education. Take a couple of blocks on the north side, south side, I don't care. Maybe we do a Saturday or a Sunday, and hey, I meet you guys and we go door to door. And we're not affiliated with no agenda. We just want people to understand the value of the vote and get out and vote. That's just an idea.
So, with that being said, because when you first started that was going through my mind, right? So the smart targets were going through my mind as you said that about that's it. So that's specific. So the specific is that we go out door to door and encourage people to vote. That's specific. Measurable. So so being measurable, that we're able to do that with however many people, even if it's just Mickey, you, and myself, right? So what I'm putting this out there to all of you people that's watching What's Poppin' right now. We'll specific and it's be measurable, right? Because that's definitely measurable, and it's definitely attainable and time based. So we'll have to put together a day, and we'll put together one day on the weekend that we'll do that. I'll get some information, even if it's some literature, even if it's some little one pager that we put together ourselves. I got a copy machine up there and I can do it myself. Even if it's some one pager that we put together and I can put it together on PowerPoint. I'm on the laptop right now. Even if it's something that we put together, or if it's something that's already out there, we can get it and we can put that out there, and we can go door to door. We'll pick a specific neighborhood, right? And we'll do it,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep. Thank you. That's it.
That we can
That's a
definitely,
start.
yeah, we can definitely
I
do that.
love it.
Oh, the R is relevant. I'm sorry. I told you I couldn't spell today. The R is relevant.
Relevant.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That
Power.
relevance is powerful. Yeah,
I
relevant is powerful.
let the R out.
Okay. Okay.
And the
Yeah,
R,
but that relevant is powerful.
what's not more relevant than voter registration and voting,
Yes, ma'am.
especially for
Yes,
the.
ma'am. Yeah, yeah. Real talk. Real talk.
Thank you, John. I forgot the R. I apologize. Yes, so thank you. So voting is so relevant, right? And
Yep.
so that is exactly what we need to do. So that's it. See, it's smart targets. Smart targets. And what's so important about smart targets and what's so special about smart targets is that they work better when you're working in a group and you are able to talk it out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That's
ma'am.
that's what's so beautiful about doing things like that, and that's what should happen. So there should always. I just feel like I feel like Dr. Weaver should is in anybody that's in those, even the council people, like in your ward, your this a council.
Yeah.
I think that you should have a focus group, and that's what.
Yeah.
In each ward have their own focus group. In your focus group of these people, like-minded people that want to move these things ahead and move the city ahead, right? You should have a focus group, and that focus group should come up with your smart targets. And that's how you,
Yes.
as a council person, because you work for them.
Right. Right.
That's all I'm saying.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
But I think that's even something that the current mayor, and maybe the mayor that may soon be coming in too, or even if he stays, or however that be, or Dr. Weaver, that's what you should have. You should have a focus group of like-minded people. But here's the thing. I said this before, and I'll say this again. Make sure that it is a group that is well-rounded. Don't
Right.
continue to get the same people that you already been rocking with. Put some young
Come.
people in your group.
Yes.
Some young
Yes.
people in there, but put some young folk in your group.
Come on. Come
Look
on.
a different way. Put some
Yes.
color in your group. If you're not
Yes.
a black person, get a couple white people.
That's right.
Get a
That's
couple,
right.
get a couple Mexican people. If you can find some Asians that live out this way, get them too. Mix it up. Make it
Mix
colorful.
it up.
Make
I
it
love it.
make it inclusive.
Right.
Everybody in. Everybody in.
I
Make it
love it.
so don't just think outside the box, people. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
We gotta approach this a little bit differently because now our world is being a little bit more inclusive. We gotta include everybody. So we need to,
Right.
and in order for us to be progressive, that's what we need to do, right?
Right. That's good. I love that. I like that focus group again. When you think about it, especially that would have been so powerful as far as in the wards, and I think that's something that we need to have a conversation with Ms. Weaver about. I think that would be really, really back to a smart target. That would be an awesome smart target. Like you say, make sure you feeding out or weeding out the agenda people. We got those agenda people. And so, some people will not be invited, but get some fresh, different across different ethnicities would be outstanding. And like you say, a little bit flow of the young and the old. That's important too. You got to have the pepper in there, a little bit with the salt
Mm-hmm.
also. But those are back to smart targets. That's some beauty. That's beautiful.
Well, I appreciate you. You know, you make my. This is what. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you what I love and appreciate about you. I love so much and appreciate about you is because you you make my thinking go to a whole nother level.
Mm.
I can absolutely say that you are one of the people that bring out the best in me.
Mm.
And I appreciate that so much because you bring out the best in me every time I talk to you. And
Oh,
you
thank you.
you make me you make things come you make me think differently, you make me react differently, and you bring out the best in me every time I talk to you. And that's a superpower you have. Oh my God, you bring out the best in everybody, but that is such a superpower. And I am so thankful. I am so thankful to have been able to have you in my life because you bring out the best in me every time I talk to you. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate, I love, and I thank you for that. You do
Well,
it every
thank you.
time I talk to you.
Well, thank you, sister. And again, you too, you and Mick, you guys, you really touched me. And those words, flowers while you are alive, are so important. And those words encourage me, Queen. So thank you so much. I haven't shared, and maybe offline I'll share a little bit more personal things with you and Mick.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank you for those words. Those they mean so much to me because so often we have a tendency to take one another for granted. And I just appreciate because you didn't have to do it, didn't have to think of me. So I just want you to know that it means the world to me. Those words that you share with me, and I feel it. They're not just words, in my opinion. I'm embracing your energy. When I first met you, and that's why I feel we're a family. We have become family. Even though I may not talk to you or Mick, it's not a day that I don't go that doesn't go by that something remind me of you guys, and especially you, Queen, because one thing that you really helped me too is you don't know this, but you also encouraged me to be on my toes because I want to make sure, when I'm especially when I get kind of excited, you know what I mean. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the right kind of information because I know you're gonna double check, and that's what I love about you. You make sure that you double check it and making sure that okay, brother Roberts, I I embrace that. So I just thank you for actually reading some of the information I've shared with you, being open and being honest. A lot of times especially with us as far as black men and women, you know, it is a joy to be able to embrace one another in a way that is just warm and loving and just caring. Sometimes we in our relationships as black men and women
Mhm.
across the board, young or old, brothers, sisters, whatever it is. And again, being able to move through situations is so beautiful, man. You know what I mean? And I just thank you for being, a queen and being a sister in my life. And then I thank Mick for being a real, real solid brother. You know what I mean? Because me and Mick did say a couple of times we was gonna put some dynamite on you and send you in. I know he told you that. We had got the we got the dynamite pack for you because you because we couldn't go in where we was trying to send you in.
Listen, I strap that pack on for you. I strap that dynamite on for you, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah, but
I'm strapping on for you.
yeah. Yeah, but again, thank you so much. And so again, what I like to do before I get off is definitely let's work on again in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Again, if next week, I think next week we should come together. And if you want me, I can put some things together. It's not that hard as far as just some basic voting, responsibility or just the concept of of the power of the vote is simple. But
Mhm.
as you said, with smart target, I think that I love that. I love the bottom up. Those things that we need to glean to. And I think next week we need to work on time and place and commitment from our audience. I
Let's
would love to have our audience to meet us. Nothing fancy. We ain't no bells, no whistles, or nothing. This is truly on the ground, snotty nose, and make it work.
We can do that. We'll do that. We'll definitely get together and do that. Well, I appreciate you so much. I thank you for coming on with me. I was thinking about you and I said, I just need Brother Roberts. I need his spirit, I need everything. Let me see if he's available. I just need him. I miss him. And I
Yeah,
we all missed you and we all needed you. And I think that this was a beautiful conversation. I think this was a beautiful little tiny focus group that we had, right? We got some things out.
yeah,
We got some things, we got our wheels spinning and all of these things. So I appreciate that. I appreciate each and every last one of you that came on and watched with us and rocked through us and went through this whole situation with us. And I pray, I am prayerful that you all, once we get all of these things together, we get our bullet points and we get a day, a time, and a place set up, that you all will join us and come out
thank
and we'll do some door knocking, and we're gonna teach these folks about voting, and
you.
like
Yeah,
Derek Smart said, teach them how to fill out a ballot correctly, because
yeah,
that's some of the things that happens as well. So that'll be some of our points to get out when we do that. So we want to do that. And then also, with that being said, and still going out and doing it in the community, maybe we can do this and we can we'll try to get together and we'll reach some young people as well, that are the ones that are coming up and doing this. So maybe I'll reach out to Leslie Key and see if he'll allow us to come in and maybe show the kids that's getting ready to start voting, like the juniors and seniors coming up to do that. So
yeah.
that's something to even think about, right? So
Okay.
yeah. So let's think
All
about
right.
it. So as always, do you have any closing words for everybody?
Yes, I always want to make sure that again, each second is the most tremendous second in your life. So everyone, please hug someone that you may not have hugged in a while. Call someone you may not have called. Ask for forgiveness someone you may have hurt, because we are only here for a second. Many of us, our curtains are somewhat at the halfway point. So
Mhm.
I just want to leave you guys with excitement. Be excited about each second of life. Please grab somebody's nose and hug it.
There you go.
Wakanda out.
Well, as always, I appreciate you, Brother Roberts, and I thank you so much again for joining us. I love you. I love you. I love you. And if I didn't say it before, I love you, right? I want you all to make sure that you are just holding yourself accountable. We really want to do that. We really want to hold ourselves accountable, and we really want to just move forward. We want to progress forward. More information to come, so please be on the lookout for those things that we just talked about, because it's coming out and it's coming soon. Right? Check me out. I'm doing pull ups. I'm recording. I'm doing pull ups. So you guys make sure that y'all be on the lookout, because if I see you out, I might gonna pull up on you, and we gonna get on there and we gonna talk about some things. We gonna go to some of these
Yeah.
businesses. We gonna do all of that. So that's starting. So y'all be ready. Make sure y'all camera ready. Get your lip gloss ready. If y'all want to know what kind that I like to use, it's Rihanna Fenty Beauty. I love that. So y'all get some. Order it, whatever. Shout out to Riri, because it's some good lip gloss. But anyway, y'all know all of that. Make sure you getting your beard right. And if not, it's cool too. I'm gonna meet you wherever you are, right? It's just however you do it. Make sure that you are, like he said, you hug somebody. Try to mend some of these relationships that are broken. Because if you think back on it, it was probably broken for a really stupid reason. And so
Yep.
all that out the door, and make sure that you do that, because for some of us, like myself, that's at my age, we only got what, maybe 30 more summers left. We got to enjoy these 30 summers, right? We got to make sure that we're doing the right things. So with that being said, when you go out there and you hugging somebody else, like Brother Roberts always say, get out in nature and hug a tree too, right? Go out there,
That's
and
right.
you got some of this good weather out there, get out there, breathe in some of that beautiful prana, right? Then go out there and do that. Go enjoy the nature. Make sure that you're going out and taking a walk. Eat healthy, everybody. Eat healthy. Stop eating all this foolishness. Make sure that you're eating healthy. Drink water, not Flint water, because Flint water is not clean, but make sure you're drinking water. Exercise. Make sure you're doing at least 30 minutes of cardio every day. But even most of all, when you're doing all of these things, and when we holding ourselves accountable and we holding each other accountable in everything that I'm telling you to do, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I would not do. But I want you all to do it with love and in love.
Love you. Out.
Love you too. Have a great weekend, everybody.